Tonight on the Mike Tomlin Show, Devlin Hodges is set to make his third NFL start as the Steelers head west to Arizona. Jayvon Hargrave breaks down his latest sack and talks about facing Kyler Murray. And we have the best sights and sounds from the Steelers' win over the Browns at Heinz Field. The Mike Tomlin Show starts right now.
Here we go. This pass is caught, and that's a touchdown. That's the way to work. Come on. He's hit that sack. The Steelers win the football game. Let's go. Come get it. You know what it is.
This one is in the history books.
Here we go.
The Mike Tomlin Show is presented by 84 Lumber.
Hello again, everyone. Bob Pompeani along with head coach Mike Tomlin after a very satisfying win over the Cleveland Browns, and now the Steelers are 7-5. And Coach, once again, it was a blow for team. I like that quote you used, and boy, you used a lot of different people once again, and they seem to all rise up to the occasion.
You know, we often talk about one man's misfortune as an opportunity for someone else, and we just got a lot of trust in all of these guys that have been a part of the preparation process and the developmental process for many of them. So, you know, you're really excited not only for us, but for them as men when they make the type of plays that they were able to make in terms of helping us secure victory. Guys like Tevin Jones, who's been on our practice squad for over a year, having an opportunity to move up in the ranks and then provide a play. I thought that play down the seam that he made for us was a significant play, but there's a lot of examples of that. We've talked often about Robert Spillane in recent weeks, another practice squad who's up and has become a special teams regular and has been a solid contributor in making tackles in that phase of the game. We couldn't do it without all those individual stories of guys seizing an opportunity. And that's what this is about. And, you know, adversity is going to strike in this game, and you can waste a lot of time talking about the misfortune of a few. We like to spend our energy and time preparing those that replace them for their.
One of the big guys was Devlin Hodges, and you didn't waste any time last week. You came out and said, we're going to go with him. And then I want to get your thoughts about when you look back at the tape, what you saw, and also how you handled the situation at your press conference. You said that you just didn't treat it any differently than anybody else.
Yeah, you know, it's easy to say the right things. It's tougher to do the right things. And so I'm always thoughtful about my actions, particularly as it pertains to leadership in these guys. And you can tell them that you're confident in them and you got a great deal of belief in them, but it's probably more appropriate to display it. And so I chose to display it last week by not having a bunch of extra conversations with them. You know, I wanted to show him that I believe in our process. I believe in him and his preparation through the process. So it wasn't a lot of extra conversations and things of that nature. I wanted to create normalcy to display that level of confidence. And, you know, he rewarded it with quality play.
You saw the same thing on the film, though, after the fact, that he did what he had to do?
No question. He was a calculated risk taker when he needed to be. We needed to be aggressive and go down the field in that 2-minute drive, and he did. He took care of the ball when it was prudent to. So largely, I was really just impressed with his demeanor, but that element of play, and really that's why he's getting the opportunity, because he's displayed ability to take care of the ball, and you know Mason had a lapse in that area in recent weeks, so you know he's been really solid.
You guys often talk about scoring at the end of a half and then coming back and scoring in the third quarter. You did both. How satisfying was that for this offense?
I don't know if it was satisfying. It was necessary. I'd like us to get out of the shoots a little faster. You know, we spotted them 10, man, and it made it very necessary. We got a great deal of belief in our defense, and that's why we want to put them on the field, but they were able to convert a couple third downs and kick a field goal on the opening possession. We started slow. The next thing you know, you're down by 10. It made that ability to put together that 2-minute drive before the half and then the subsequent stop and then going down at the beginning of the second half really critical in terms of how the game was unfolding.
Your defense has stepped up big time. I liked what I saw after the Hodges interception when you had 3 straight plays, and it was Mike Hilton on Jarvis Landry, and it was an open field tackle, which I think are underrated, Terrell Edmonds, and then the sack by Javon Hargrave. That seemed to really send the message right back.
Significant turn of events, you know. And at the early stages of the year when we weren't winning football games, we weren't doing a good enough job of supporting the offense when we turned the ball over. I think about the 49er game Every time the 49ers got a turnover and it was on a short field, they were able to score touchdowns. And really, if you just look at it from that perspective, that was the difference in the 49er game, our inability to hold those guys to field goals on those turnovers. So we've been working hard in that area. I just like the general demeanor of the group as they took the field. There was an awareness that they were facing adversity, and they were staring it in the face and smiling in the face of it. And then they went out and performed that way. So hopefully there's some growth there. Hopefully that's a catalyst for us as we continue to move forward.
You used the word growth right there. What about James Washington? Because he had kind of a rocky first season. But what we've seen now, a combat catch, he's going up and making every play, it seems.
It goes all the way back to the very, very beginning of this team development process. He showed up in great shape. He had a professional conditioning about him, and that was a catalyst for what was a really solid preseason. And then we got into the season, and he wasn't getting a lot of opportunities, and sometimes your opportunities are born out of the misfortune of others. Obviously, without Juju being available to us, we've had to dial his number some in recent weeks, and he's proven to be ready and able and growing in all the right ways.
So the Steelers are now 7-5, 4 games left. The first one is at Arizona. We'll talk about that more when we come back with head coach Mike Tomlin. Missi Matthews, let's send it back over to you.
Thanks so much, Bob. And when you talk about the Cardinals, you have to talk about #1 overall draft pick Kyler Murray. Coach will break down Arizona coming up here on the Mike Tomlin Show. But first, you don't want to miss my one-on-one interview with Jayvon Hargrave. The Mike Tomlin Show will be right back.
Welcome back to the Mike Tomlin Show.
Coach Tomlin talked about the start of December football last week on the show, and while it didn't snow at Heinz Field when the Browns came to town for the rematch, the Steelers did keep their ground game going. Devlin Hodges became 2-0 as a starter, and the defense did what the defense does best. Here's the best sights and sounds.
As the calendar dwindles down to its last page, 32 NFL teams face their final promised month of football.
Hey man, ain't nothing mystical about it. You guys make the plays. They don't make themselves. Playmakers on 3. 1, 2, 3. Playmakers. Let's get it.
Coach Mike Tomlin deems it December football.
December football when it get real. Time to work.
It's when teams separate themselves from the pack and solidify their playoff identity.
Browns 5-6, Steelers 6-5. You get the feeling the winner of this game has hope. The loser probably plays the string out.
Right.
It isn't just a heightened sense of urgency that falls over Heinz Field, but also the tension of a rejuvenated rivalry with the Cleveland Browns.
And speaking of intense, do we have to go back to the end of the Cleveland game?
I don't want to relive it. There's a reason that the windshield is 100 times bigger than the rearview mirror.
The last month of the season is its most trying and rigorous, but the teams that don't blink are the ones that find themselves playing after the new year. Being down 10 points wouldn't ruffle the feathers of undrafted rookie quarterback Devlin "Duck" Hodges. It was only a matter of time before Duck and the offense were ready to take flight.
Got a flag on the play. He throws a long pass down the field, and it's pulled in. Is it going to be inbounds? Yes, indeed. What a play for James Washington.
I think that play is going to do wonders for Duck's confidence.
They'll go to the trickery and Deontay Johnson. Johnson cuts to the outside. And Johnson, the juke move. Samuels in the Wildcat. Samuels will run himself. Brought down by the shoelaces.
Kick is on its way. That kick is up, and that kick is good. And the Steelers get on the board. And it's pulled in at the 30-yard line by Kevin Jones. He throws it long down the sideline, and there's a man under it. And it's caught with a marker down. That's a touchdown for James Washington. Wow. Yes, unbelievable.
Let me tell you, we've gone from Mallard mania to some Mallard magic down here on the field.
Pulled to the side and still maintains his focus on the ball. Amazing.
Oh, Billy, we're back in it.
After a dismal start, the Pittsburgh Steelers have life. The score is 10-10 between Pittsburgh and the Browns.
After a quick strike right before halftime, the the Steelers look to impose their will on the Browns.
There's a little check down, running with the football. Samuels up over the 35 of 40. Needed 15, got 16. Turns the corner, knocks over a defender. Gets knocked out of bounds, but man, he ran over a Cleveland defender.
He ran over Greedy Williams.
Long down the right sideline, and it's pulled in. James Washington, another unbelievable catch for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow, what a throw by Devlin.
And the give to the second man, and he grinds to the goal line. And that is Benny Snell Jr. for the touchdown, his first as a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Wow, 16-10 Steelers are up.
Benny Snell with his very first, and I'm sure he'll hold on to that football.
In the first half, the Steelers' defense gave up 91 yards on the ground. That unit wouldn't let up any more than 15 the rest of the way.
And that's going to be back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all for Nick Chubb coming left to right.
That's gang tackling. You got to have that on Chubb.
Chased out of the pocket. He's hemmed in. He's still on his feet. Now he's down, and the ball came out at the 45. Cam Hayward has it for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Dupree, the hit brought him down, and Hayward pounced on the ball, and the Steelers play takeaway in Browns territory. How about them apples?
Oh, boy.
This is big. You stop them right here, they get panicky. They get tight.
Gets the snap. Big rush. He's hit and sacked. Jayvon Hargrave is right up in his mustache and gets the sack, and that should put him out of cyber train.
Backed up to their own 1-yard line, the Steelers turn to a rookie runner and a little something that he likes to call Benny Snell football.
Hand off. Benny Snell will create space and pick up a first down.
What a crack.
Now it's on the defense.
Gets the snap. Throws a pass, and the pass is intercepted. And that's Joe Hayden, the former Brown. And you can put this one in the history books.
You just saw in sights and sounds Jayvon Hargrave's clutch takedown of Baker Mayfield. That now makes 4 sacks on the season for Hargrave. And this week I had a chance to go one-on-one with him to talk about the loss of Stephon Tuitt and facing Kyler Murray this week.
I want to start, and I want you to describe for me the 2019 Steelers defense.
It was ferocious, hungry, some dogs. We just out there making plays right now, so it's just good to watch, good football to watch.
With the loss of Stephon Tuitt, how much more do you think you are on the field helping out?
I mean, it's a lot. Tuitt, one of the best in the business, so we was sad that had to happen to him, but it done put me in a lot more opportunities to play more this year.
Challenging? Fun?
Nah,
How would
it's
you?
fun. I like playing football, so I think we all do. It's our job, so I love getting more reps and just being out there with the guys and being able to see us all make plays and everybody as a collective unit just make plays.
Coach Tomlin was asked about you this week. He said you should be a hot contributor the rest of the way. What do you think that means, and is that just unspoken for that you need to step it up?
Yeah, it's Coach T always say little, I don't know, I don't really, I
He has
can't
Tomlinisms.
Yeah, he got little quotes for days, so I can't really get into that, but I mean, it's December football and it's big play, and we got to make plays.
Coach Chandler also said this week with Kyler Murray that the defense has to strike that delicate balance of being aggressive but also being smart. Is that hard to do?
Yeah, we a real aggressive unit, so we just got to play him more smarter because he can use his feet a lot more and he can get out of a lot of situations. So we got to be more smart and not try to take too many chances as we can do with other quarterbacks because he's real dangerous dual threat quarterback.
Big congratulations to Steelers outside linebacker TJ Watt, who was named the AFC Defensive Player of the Month. In November, he had 6.5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. Straight ahead, Coach Tomlin breaks down the 3-8-1 Arizona Cardinals and why there needs to be a delicate balance between being aggressive and playing smart out west.
Keep it locked in here at the Mike Tomlin Show.
The Mike Tomlin Show is presented by 84 Lumber. Are you 84 material? Visit 84lumber.com/careers to learn more.
Sunday afternoon, the Steelers will face another quarterback drafted first overall in Arizona's Kyler Murray. And since becoming head coach, Mike Tomlin is 20-10 against quarterbacks drafted first overall. Let's head back to Bob and Coach for more on Murray and the rest of the Cardinals.
All right, Missy, going out west, Arizona is a team that has a lot of talent, and it starts with their quarterback, Kyler Murray, and he's one of those guys, he's been up and down, but I guess as a rookie you would expect that. He also offers what guys like Lamar Jackson offer, and you guys have had success in dealing with Lamar Jackson. What are the challenges with Kyler Murray?
You know, he's really talented, and he's talented in all areas of play. His mobility, which you mentioned, is spectacular. I think he's their leading rusher so far on the season, and he creates plays with his legs, not only by scramble and ad-lib, but also there's some design runs, and in particularly in situational ball, possession downs, red zone. We got to be sharp in terms of minimizing him as a runner. But what he does with his arm is why he got picked first overall in the draft. He's been really good in that area also. He's taking care of the ball. They, in general, are taking care of the ball. They've only turned the ball over 9 times on the season. That's got to have them pretty tops in the NFL. It's been a real positive aspect of play for them. They're not winning games the way they would like to, but offensively, a lot of it's going through him, his arms, his legs. They're taking care of the ball. They're really laying a really good foundation for their organization in that phase.
They also have one of the most iconic guys, I think, in the game in Larry Fitzgerald, who made his way through Pitt. We got to know him. What does a guy like that represent to you?
The game. You know, the game of football is about stories like Larry Fitzgerald. Men that are good for the game, that have really taken opportunities and blessings to utilize it for good, not only in terms of his career and what he's done for his family and loved ones, but the community in which he lives, the community where he's from, the community where he went to college. He's just a great representative of us all, class in every way, on and off the field, and has been now for I don't know how many years.
And he had that big play in the Super Bowl. You remember it well before you guys won that thing. That was remarkable.
Do I remember it?
Do you remember it?
It's just one of those things that you see when you wake up in the middle of the night. You know, Larry running down the middle of that field. Just a really special man. I can't say enough about Larry Fitzgerald.
They also brought in, Christian Kirk's their guy right now in that department, but also Kenyon Drake. They felt the need to go out and get him. What makes him difficult to deal with?
Man, he's an awesome player. He's got inside game. He's got outside game. The interesting thing for us is this is the second time we've prepared for him, because we were preparing for him when we were preparing for the Dolphins. And then that trade went through maybe 24 hours or 48 hours around our game time. So we never actually stepped into a stadium with him, but he's doing the same things out there that I saw on the Dolphin tape. He's good inside, he's good outside, he's good in the perimeter game, the screen game. He's really talented. They got 2 really talented runners. David Johnson, his reputation speaks for itself, both in the backfield and outside the backfield. Murray's got a lot of weapons, and that's one of the reasons why they're doing such a really good job of taking care of the ball. You got so many people to contend with. They're able to spread it around and move the pocket also and kind of stay a step ahead of you in those areas.
Your young defenses or offense is going to have to face an Arizona defense that still has Terrell Suggs playing on it. But they've had some ups and downs as well. What's the best way to attack their defense?
You know, you cannot allow Chandler, Jones, and Suggs to become relevant. And how do they become relevant? You get off to the slow starts like we've gotten off to in recent weeks. We can't allow that to happen. We get down 10 points on these guys, then guys like 55 and 56 take over the game. They're just capable of that. Also within that, you got to do a good job of consistently staying on schedule. You get behind the chains, and those 2 guys are going to impact the game in a real way for them. Man, Chandler Jones leads the NFL in sacks. You need no endorsement of Suggs. We all know what he's about, and we all expect him to be at his best when he sees the Pittsburgh Steelers coming to town. So we can't allow those guys to be the callous for negativity. We can't allow those guys to sack fumble us or bat passes and things of that nature that really put us in harm's way.
And when the Pittsburgh Steelers come to town, no matter what town, you know you're going to get support from the traveling Steeler Nation. We're going to talk a little bit about that with head coach Mike Tomlin when we return. Right now, Missy, let's send it back to you.
If Steelers fans can turn out how they did in LA for Duck's first start, Bob, I think it's fair to say it'll be a Pittsburgh-friendly crowd in Arizona. Don't go anywhere. When we return, Coach Tomlin talks about the support of Steelers Nation on the road and how the team feeds off their energy. Tomorrow afternoon, the Steelers will face their final NFC West opponent in the Arizona Cardinals. And if Coach Tomlin has his way, Steelers fans will be there and they will be loud, even though it's a road game. Bob and Coach are standing by with more on that. Bob?
Thanks, Missy, very much. And once again, we have seen over the season, over the years, so many Steeler fans show up at away games and almost take over the stadium. It would be a hashtag takeover. We saw that with the Charger game. But Arizona, there are a lot of people out there. As a head coach, you must really like that advantage that it should give you.
It's one of the things that make you smile, particularly when we go west, that part of the country. Over the years, the few trips I've been out there to Arizona, Steeler Nation will be in the house. I won't be surprised by that, but I will appreciate it, and we look forward to entertaining them.
What is the thing that you're most impressed with when you see not just a few people, but I mean that many people come out and take over almost an opponent's stadium?
It's really cool. They bring an energy, just how far we are away from home. They probably don't get an opportunity to see us very often, and they bring that type of energy. It's been a number of years, obviously, since we've been out in Arizona, but the last time we were out there, I just remember the energy, the towels, the way they had to work on a silent count as the game got going. Those are the things that stick in your mind, just like that experience we had in LA a couple months back.
They're going to be out there in full supply. You can know that on Sunday when the Steelers take on the Arizona Cardinals. That's going to do it for our show tonight. Coach, thanks very much. All the best.
Thank you.
Big game coming up. You'll see it on KDK TV, and we follow it up with postgame on Pittsburgh CW. And that's going to do it for our program tonight. Thanks for joining us. For Missi Matthews, I'm Bob Pompeani, along with head coach Mike Tomlin. We'll see you again next Saturday for another edition of the Mike Tomlin Show, presented by 84 Lumber. Good night.